when we have the check of our society, some people will not
questions, and hopefully we'll come up with answers, most importantly. It's great to be with you.
А я сплю в футболке твоей, она навевает мне чувство прошедшей любви. Я ночь провожу с ней, я так не хочу забывать, что ты...
Finding out where you get your information from the outside, I think I want to see where you get your information from the inside.
Должен сказать, что наша встреча посвящена на самом деле.
This meeting is dedicated to an extremely important issue that touches upon all the parts of the modern life. The issue of communication has taken a rather dramatic turn because the question now is how can a person survive without being manipulated or falling prey to manipulation?
Do you American students, generally know that our American president has called our television networks and our radio and newspapers the enemy of the people, vrag naroda?
I work for the New York Times Bureau in Moscow. My main job there is to watch Russian television, to analyze how America is portrayed there, because they talk about America all the time. It makes sometimes our news look very negative about Russia, but we need to keep in mind that it's often a response to that.
The federal media, they try to just simply show the government and what it does in a good light. Some issues are played down, and some advancements of our government are painted in a very, very good light, sometimes better than it actually is.
Generally speaking, the perceptions that Russians and Americans have of each other are perceptions that are created by the media. Media in this country is controlled by the government, directly or indirectly. In the United States today, media is controlled by corporations. So in a way, the two sides have come together in that you have government control here, which of course exercises censorship, and corporate control there, which also exercises censorship. If you were to go through mainstream media in this country and try to find anything positive about the United States, you probably wouldn't. And it would be the same thing in the United States pertaining to Russia.
This conference is called Who Do We Trust? I think maybe we should ask the question, like, do we trust anyone?
I just wanted to ask a really brief question to my American friends. Is that true that in American movies the bad guys are always Russian?
One of the most popular stereotypes in Russia about the US is that the Americans want to steal our oil. Among my friends, among people I know, I see a lot of xenophobia towards the US, and of course, I don't like that at all, and I'd like to fix it. So this conference is a great experience for me, I can already tell that.
I'm thinking about getting a master's degree in America. My family is not that supportive. Well, my dad has always been one of those people who think that America is an enemy.
So yeah, my family's from a very small town originally, and they tend to be the very typical like Trump supporter family. So they watch a lot of Fox News, and it was very clear to me as soon as I decided that I wanted to go to Russia and experience this awesome place that they were not on board with it at all.
My parents, for example, they're kind of a mirror version of Sawyer's parents, but it's not Trump, it's Putin, and they consume the state channels and the state media very often.
You shouldn't feel bad that all the bad guys are Russians now.
No, we like it, I think.
Yeah,
most Russians like
this. Yes, that's actually one stereotype we all like.
So, okay, so you're the bad guys. There'll be another country in another 10 years. Hollywood is slow catching up.
Today, I think that in both countries, in the United States and in Russia, the perceptions are even more negative than during the Cold War. The anti-American sentiment that one meets in this country is much higher than it was when citizen diplomacy just began. In the United States, you have pretty much the same situation. The president of Russia, Mr. Putin, is described as a thug, a killer. There is a fear of Russia, and when you react from fear, you usually react the wrong way.
Perhaps the idea of citizen diplomacy should be much more heavily promoted. I think it's a very simple idea, but until I was invited to this conference, citizen diplomacy is not a phrase I'd ever heard before.
As well as for Nathan, citizen diplomacy was as much of a revelation for me, and now I see that this is maybe the only way we can fix the situation now.
I was one of those who participated in the first Russian-American students' youth gatherings. We didn't trust institutions, we trusted in people. In those journalists, in those fantastic people who digged and developed behind Iron Curtain. Those efforts what destroyed this Iron Curtain.
So what should we do before we all meet again in person? Can we create a U.S.-Russian civics curriculum?
People talking to people meeting is exactly what we should all be doing.
People-to-people exchanges, so that on both sides there is a personal involvement.
When you just tell, even person to person, about your experience, about what you like about the opposite country, all these new interesting connections will come and new projects. It's always a personal connections, and you never know what can happen. So just be open, and these unexpected things can happen.
I am just a simple Russian girl. I've got a vodka in my blood, so I dance with bra on this, and my soul is torn apart.